Today, my guest dominated the WWE in the early 2000s. You've seen him across Raw, SmackDown, ECW. He's an athlete, he's an actor, now he's a podcaster. He's none other than Snitsky, but I first knew him as Mean Gene Mondo. Snitsky, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing
Good.
good, and I appreciate you getting coming on today.
No problem. Just got done working out, so don't mind my unkempt appearance, but that's not my fault.
So, when did professional wrestling first come into your life? What was it that made you want to pursue this crazy industry?
uh, as a as a kid, I like a 10-year-old, I was flipping through the channels and just kind of stumbled upon wrestling. I remember like Hulk Hogan cutting a promo, and I was just kind of like, wow, that's kind of pretty cool. And then just with the over the top personalities and the the characters, the larger than life,
Hmm.
everything with wrestling. Like, everything was always so over the top, larger than life back in those days. And as a young kid, you're like, wow, that's freaking awesome, just,
Hmm.
you know, kind of just like I said, I just stumbled upon it. Like I wasn't like, oh, hey, I'm going to watch pro wrestling. So that was, kind of how it piqued my interest to begin with.
And what was your first impressions of when you stumbled into professional wrestling? What point do you think that you really got the itch to pursue this further?
Uh, mm, Probably like 12, 13 maybe, because they had come to my high school. WWE used to do like spot shows back in the day at like smaller auditoriums and smaller locations. So I remember when I was 12 years old, WWE came to Panther Valley High School. That's where I went to high school at. And me and all my buddies, we got tickets. We're like, we'll watch the show. And I could vividly remember Snooker wrestling Ray the Crippler Stevens, and just seeing him come off the top rope, and like just the crowd, the energy. It was
Hmm.
like just it was so cool and just so awesome as a kid to be like part of that.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, I really like to do this someday. So that's kind of when it first kind of started trickling in the back of my medulla oblongata. Little throwback to uh, Grill a Monsoon there. Yeah, we always used to joke around, like all these little sayings we used to say to each other in high school. Like all my buddies had medulla. The medulla oblongata was always like one of our favorites.
How hard was it to even get into professional wrestling back then? It wasn't as open as it is today. Was it hard to find a school at that time period?
uh, the process for me was, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't uh, it wasn't hard to get into wrestling for me.
Hmm.
Like I was a bigger guy, was always athletic, always played sports since I'm a little kid. And as the older I got, and as I'm watching wrestling, I was like, man, I'm bigger than that guy, and I could do that, and I could do all the stuff I was watching.
Hmm.
And you know, so I was like, well, let me make my run with football and see how far I could go with football, because I was, all state in football,
Hmm.
got a full scholarship to Missouri, played at Missouri, went to camp with the Chargers. Couple months in, 3 months in, tore my labrum, had surgery, came back a year later in the CFL for the Birmingham Barracudas, and then that was '95. So I was kind of like, CFL wasn't my cup of tea, and I
Hmm.
retired from football in '95. And then '96, I started, you know, dipping my toes into pro wrestling. And my buddy from college, Rob Harper, and I always talked about doing a tag team. So we, kind of developed these characters, the Twin Tackles. So he
Hmm.
moved out to Pennsylvania and well, before that, even we went down to Dory Funk's camp in Florida just to get our faces out there. And I ran into, well, not ran into, but another attendee of the camp was Court Bauer, who now has MLW.
Hmm.
And we hit it off. We became friends. Shortly after that camp, uh, Court had reached out to me. He's like, hey, Samu is looking for a guy to do the Patriot on this upcoming overseas tour that they're doing at all the military bases. And I was like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, I thought you'd be perfect for it. Is it okay if I refer you to him? I'm like, absolutely. So talk to Sam. He's like, hey, I need you to get the Patriot outfit as soon as you can. So express ordered the Patriot outfit, wrestled as the Patriot for my very first overseas tour with Sam, Lloyd, Gangrel was on that, Luna, Honky Tonk Man, One Man Gang. So for my very first tour, I had all the best helping me along, tutoring me.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was wrestling under a mask, so nobody knew who I was. So I could pretty much do whatever I wanted to do and, see what works, see what didn't. So it was a great learning experience for me. And wrestled Sam every night, took my beatings, got, paid my dues. I've always been an athlete, like I said. I know kind of how it works, don't complain, do what's asked of you, make yourself available for whatever they need. So that's what I did. And I earned Sam's respect, Lloyd's respect. Got back to the States, and Sam was like, hey, I'd love to have you come down and train at my dad's camp. And I'm like, that'd be awesome. So I went down and met up with Pops. And ironically, I live 45 minutes away from Allentown.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a hop, skip, and a jump. So I started training at his dad's camp, the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Center in Allentown. And just kind of, Pops took me under his wing, guided my career, got me a dark matchup in Wilkes-Barre, October of 2003. And then heard back March. It was like, I think March of 04. I was getting some feedback. And then in May, it was either the end of May or early June, Johnny Laurinaitis called me, offered me a contract to go down to OVW. I was like, sweet. So went down to OVW in like July, I think it was June or July of 04, and started training down at OVW. And, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm not stupid. And it was kind of easy for me to pick up. I was always able to look at something, how it's done, and pick it up. So, obviously when you're in that situation with all the top guys, training and working out with everybody every day, it just kind of came naturally to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got, to OVW. But Pops took, like I said, took me under his wing and guided me, got me in front of who I needed to get in front of. And the rest, so they say, is history.
So from the very beginning, you were surrounded by, larger than life personalities, people that have been across TV. Was that ever intimidating starting out? Like, because it wasn't just like a random person, it was all these legends and veterans at that time. How was that, like, right out the gate, like you're just with all these people?
Well, I don't want to sound arrogant or like anything like that, but I'm not like a starstruck kind of guy. I
Mm-hmm.
was never like overwhelmed or intimidated by any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, I played football, Division I college football. I played,
Mm-hmm.
in front of 90,000 people in football. Like my very first game ever was at Arizona State. And, there's 90,000 people there. And I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And I'm like looking around, this is awesome. This is what I signed up for right here. So like, I just thought, like, as a kid, like going back to, like I said, when I was 12 or 13, I'd tell people, I'd be like, hey, you're either going to watch me on Sunday in NFL or Monday on Monday Night Raw. So I knew I could do it. I knew if I got the opportunity in front of the right people, I'd prove myself. So I never had a lack of confidence. I've always been a pretty confident guy. And, so got right, in front of the right people and did what I needed to do. And was fortunate enough to have a great run at WWE. And here we are 20 some years later, still talking about it. So that's cool.
What was your first initial thoughts of Ohio Valley Wrestling at that time?
There was a lot of people in one ring. So it was kind of like, not saying it wasn't organized or, anything like that, but coming from Pop's camp where there was 10, 15 people and you're running drills to OVW where there's 30, 40, sometimes 50 guys, and you got one ring to work out in. It was kind of like, you didn't get as much ring time as I was hoping to get when I first got there, to be quite honest with you, because there was just so many guys. But, just picked it up, started, doing matches at OVW and, gaining experience in the WWE way.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily for me, they needed somebody to beat up Kane, and I was the guy they chose. So that was pretty awesome.
Before they called you up for that, did they have any initial plans or were they working on anything with you in OVW, like who they wanted you to be, or was that like a give and take?
Well, you referenced it earlier about Mean Gene Mondo. So my first
Hmm.
character there was Mean Gene Mondo. I was Mike Mondo's little brother. And I'd walk out holding him on my shoulders. We'd walk out, him sitting on my shoulders, and I'd set him on the ring, and then we'd do our spiel. So that was kind of my first official character
Hmm.
at WWE, so to speak. So, yeah, just like I said, man, I was just a sponge trying to gain as much information and knowledge as I could because I ultimately knew I wanted, my end goal was to be
Hmm.
on Raw or SmackDown or,
Yeah.
on TV. I wasn't planning on being at OVW for 2, 3 years like some people, but, you know,
Who were the trainers at that time during OVW, and did you work with anybody more than others during your time there?
Bill DeMott and Lance Storm were the two trainers at the time. So Lance, worked with the smaller guys, and Bill worked with the bigger guys. So we uh we had our big guy stuff because back then, they told you work your size. So I was
Hmm.
one of the biggest guys there. So it just working with Bill and developing my character and developing my style was awesome because Bill's a great guy. He's a Jersey guy. I'm a PA guy.
Hmm.
So we hit it off, and he helped me out a lot. And just try, like I said, man, just trying to be a sponge and absorb all the knowledge I could, and just do what they asked of me and be respectful because that's another thing Pop's always instilled in us. Respect the business, say hi to everybody, walk in, find your spot, say hello to everybody. Don't bring any attention to yourself or make a scene or type of thing. Just respect the business, respect the boys. So that's kind of how I was brought up through the business. So that's just the approach I took, and you know, just always had Pops in the back of my mind. Respect the business, respect the business. So
I know.
back in those days, we paid our dues. We took the ring down, put the ring up, like all that kind of stuff. Like that
Hmm.
was one of the first things we did at the Wild Small Training Center. Take the ring down, put the ring back up. Take the ring down, put the ring back up. And then, before you were even able to get into the ring, we did 1,000 body weight squats. And then after you earned the right to get into the ring, then you'd start, doing drills and learning bumps and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we weeded out a lot of guys right away because you didn't see a lot of guys after that first day with the 1,000 squats.
Oh, I guarantee it. I know when you got called up, it was kind of a chaotic day. Were you ready for that mentally?
Well, the first day wasn't chaotic. It was the second week that was chaotic. The first
Hmm.
week, Howard Finkel called me on Friday, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna fly up to Seattle on Sunday. You're gonna be going to Raw on Monday." I was like, "Sweet." So went up Seattle, did the thing, had that angle with Kane, hit him with the chair, fell on Lita, caused a miscarriage,
Hmm.
yada yada, and go back to OVW. I'm training in the ring. It's a Monday. We're doing our drills. Tommy Dreamer comes over. He's like, Snitsky, you got to get moving. You got to get to the airport. I'm like, yeah, okay. I thought he was ribbing me.
Hmm.
So I'm just, whatever, Tommy. Kept doing drills. And he literally like grabs me. He said, you got to get to the airport. Vince just called. You have to get. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, they need you at Raw. I'm like, well, geez, did anybody think of this last week? Like to get my travel? Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Hmm.
And he's like, dude, you got to get going now. You have to catch this next flight. I'm like, all right. So I'm like doing my OJ, running. No, I get back to my apartment, get all my shit together,
Hmm.
rush to the airport. I'm running through the airport. I'm soaked through my clothes. I get to the gate, get on the plane, and the freaking something happened. The flight's delayed. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I call the office. They're like, Well, whenever you get, I think it was Dallas. Whenever you get to Dallas, just call us and we'll go from there. So get to Dallas, I call them, and they're like, "Well, listen, you're not going to catch the next flight. It already left for, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was in Arizona." So they said, "Hang tight, we'll call you back." They called me back. They said, "Take a shuttle over to the private jet area. We're going to have the WWE corporate jet come get you." I'm like, "Sweet." This is getting even better.
Hmm.
So I tell you, I go over to private jet area. I'm waiting. Well, here comes the WWE plane. I'm like, man, this is awesome. Get on the WWE corporate jet. They shoot me to Arizona. And it's funny because all I did was a interview with JR. So they've spent all that extra money to get me there to do an interview. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, somebody's going to get in trouble over this. Because it was like, it was just crazy, dude. Like,
Hmm.
they literally just flew to corporate jet just to pick me up. I'm like, that's freaking cool. So that was the second week. So that was yeah, that was crazy. Because like I said, dude, I'm running
Hmm.
like as fast as I can because I can't miss this flight. And I'm soaked, like I'm dripping sweat. And I felt bad for the person sitting next to me on the plane, but oh well. As a wise man once said, it wasn't my fault.
Did you think that just doing that first initial match with Kane would lead to how big that got over and how that's still talked about today? That was like a big moment within professional wrestling and WWE. How was it at
Yeah.
that time, just being surrounded? Like it got over quick.
Well, the very first week when I hit Glenn with the chair and all that stuff, like instantly people started chanting, "Baby killer."
Hmm.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, this is great. This is exactly what we need to happen. Like, because that's, as a heel,
Hmm.
you want obviously you want everybody to hate you. So I'm like, man, this is too easy. They already hate me. I don't even have to do anything now. This is great. So like, it just, it was just the right moment at the right time. And I remember walking through it with Glenn, and he's like, whatever you do, hit me, give me a good hit with the chair. I'm like, don't worry, I will. We got this. So, yeah, the moment that I hit him and he fell on her,
Hmm.
people knew, man. They were like, "Baby killer!" Like, I'm just, oh man, I was like, this is great. Yeah, I love the whole thing. It was awesome. Like, just let's go. I was ready to go, man.
After you do this feud with Kane, were they already having plans in motion for you to continue to build the character?
Well, they had me pretty much killing everybody up until
Hmm.
Glenn came back, and then we did the pay-per-view match down at Puerto Rico for New Year's Revolution,
Hmm.
and that's when he beat me because I beat him at Taboo Tuesday, took him out
Hmm.
so he could go do the movie, and then he went and did his movie, came back, and then got revenge on me. So then that was the end of that storyline, and then I transitioned. Though I think Big Show was I think the next one I had a little story with, and then that went. I think I want to say two pay-per-views maybe. I forget exactly the timeline, but that ran its course for a few months, and then the heck was that after that? I think I started tagging with Goldust after that a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's the timeline because I did some stuff with Goldust, and we were getting over huge, then he had some personal issues that he had to deal with, so he stepped away for a while. But I know that we were supposed to win the tag team belts and all that kind of stuff, and then just never materialized. Like I said, he had some personal issues he was dealing with and had to step away. But yeah, I mean, in the world of wrestling, anything could happen. So
That's true.
it is what it is. I don't have any, I don't look back and have any bad feelings towards it. But it
Yeah.
is a bummer because it would have been cool to have the belts and have a run with Goldust because we had such great chemistry, man.
Hmm.
Like we just hit it off personally, hit it off. Like I hung out with him all the time, and we got in all kind of situations. But no, he was awesome to work with. I love that guy, and a few things here, a few things there. We could have been a tag team champs, but
That's
hey,
true.
it is what it is, and you know,
Do you have
it's all good.
do you have any particular moments from that early on in your WWE career that stand out to you personally?
Uh, Probably just that whole situation with the mix up on the travel and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
it's pretty cool that they felt so strongly about me and getting me there that they flew to corporate jet just to pick me
Oh
up.
yeah.
That's just like that never happens. Never happens.
Hmm.
So that was kind of cool. I wish there would have been all the social media and all that back then, because that'd be cool to still have
Hmm.
pictures of and stuff like that. But I got them all right here. But yeah, that was awesome. Just the whole first 6 8 months, man. It was just like took off like a rocket ship, man.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome. Like exactly how I envisioned it in my mind. It's crazy how it all worked out.
How was it being that monster heel right away, and then dealing with all the whole like the WWE universe and dealing with all these fans and stuff? How was that for you?
Oh, it's great because I know the drill. Like,
Hmm.
got to get the fans mostly emotionally invested in the character, and as a heel, like I said, you want them to hate you and dislike you as much as possible. So it was, I don't want to say easy, but it was already, like I said, the moment I hit Glenn with the chair and caused the miscarriage, everybody pretty much hated me at that point. So it was, just take the ball and run with it kind of thing after that.
Did you pitch anything during this time, or was it just kind of like they were guiding you on what they wanted to do, or was that the environment back then that you could pitch that, hey, maybe this would work for this character?
Well, they were pretty big on pitching ideas and stuff, but I was, I'm a new guy. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
step on any toes. I was just kind of going with the flow at that time. But the cool thing is, I worked with Stephanie directly on all my
Hmm.
backstage segments. So I developed a nice relationship with her, and, you know, just, just kind of rolled with the punches, so to speak, because they were putting me in good situations all along that stretch. So I didn't really have any reason to pitch ideas or
Hmm.
pitch other, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they had this course set for me, and I was just like, like I said, working with Stephanie directly. So anything we did that had her fingerprint on it, they
Hmm.
were gonna they were gonna use and,
Oh yeah.
and push. So I didn't feel the need to have to really like politic at that point.
Hmm. How did the transformation come from the Snitsky we knew to your during what the ECW time where they shaved your head and gave you changed your appearance a little bit? How did that all that come to be?
Ironically, we were just out at the ring working out one day at Raw, and Vince just came up to me out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna be starting this ECW. I'm gonna make you the main heel, but I want you to change change your appearance, shave off all your hair, and go to the makeup lady and see if there's something that you could get your teeth all grimy with." I'm like, okay. Like I wasn't thrilled at the time, but when Vince comes to you personally and it's his
Yeah.
idea, you know, and he tells you you're going to be the top heel in ECW, it's like, oh. So off went all the hair, eyebrows, everything, man. And then I found this stuff to paint on my teeth out of a makeup company in New York City. So I had them ship a whole case of it, and started putting that on, and then you know got a whole nother action figure out of it. I got a centerfold in the WWE magazine. They actually sent me a copy of it framed. I got a nice frame of it. Where is that? I got it somewhere. Where did I
Was
took
it
it
a was it a pain in the ass to do that with the teeth all the time?
at? Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, I had to get my mouth like totally dry. Like I'd stick paper towel in my mouth, get with my teeth totally dry, and then I'd paint it on and have to be like, like get it nice and dry. But surprisingly, it stayed on pretty well. It was good stuff. But yeah, so that's how it actually happened. Just out of the blue, I wasn't like, nobody was like, hey, we're thinking about changing your character, nothing like that. It was just
Yeah.
like, hey, we're gonna make it a monster heel on ECW. Go do this. Okay. So then they flew me up to Stanford and cut all those promo videos. And I want to say I might be the only guy in wrestling history that had the coming now or coming soon, like the whole vignette thing, coming to
Mhm.
ECW. Literally, the vignette played. That show, I came out and squashed. I want to say it was Lashley. I think I came out, jumped Lashley, and just mauled him. So I don't think there's ever been another guy in history of WWE where it was coming soon to ECW or coming soon to whatever, and then that episode was on. Is kind of just fucked up the way everything worked. It was just like nothing that you'd think would happen happened.
Yeah.
It was weird.
How do you feel your run with the ECW brand went? Was there anything that you would have liked to have accomplished during when they gave you that idea to do all that?
Well, obviously, I would have liked to have the belt, but
Hmm.
I mean, I think they were kind of going that way with it.
Hmm.
But a few months in, I forget the exact timeline, but at some point during the first 3 or 4 months, Stephanie came up to me and she's like, "Hey, my dad just loves the stuff you're doing on ECW. We're gonna have the draft coming up. We're gonna draft you back to Raw." And I was like, "Well, that doesn't." I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't make much sense. Why would you take me off of ECW after I'm doing
Hmm.
so good to just put me back on Raw to do what I was doing? So I don't know what the mindset was on that or what happened in the production meetings to make that you know
Hmm.
a reality. But yeah, like I said, man, anything could happen in wrestling, and you just kind of roll with the punches. And you know, I was kind of bummed because I did like the whole ECW thing. I like,
Yeah.
I think the show was great. We had so many off the wall characters. It was, it was fun. But somebody thought it would be better to put me back on Raw, so back to Raw I went.
Did they have any plans or what they wanted to do, or Vince just wanted you to be featured on
No,
Monday Night Raw? No.
yeah, they don't tell you much.
How
back
do you
back
stay positive? How do you not get
because
stressed and just stay positive and focused during that time
I'm
period?
a professional athlete and I know how things work, and you know it takes a certain individual to get the WWE.
Hmm.
So I was, like I said, I was always a confident guy. I knew whatever they gave me, I was going to make into something special. So that's just the mindset I always took. Like whatever they give me, I'm going to make it the best, and I'm going to, entertain the fans and do my thing, man. Because that's what I was there for. I wasn't there, just to hang out. I wanted to be an integral part of the show, and they were giving me opportunities. I wasn't going to scoff at it because there's a
Yeah.
million other guys that would love to take my place.
Which version of Snitsky do you like best?
Uh, Probably the ECW version, but it was just I didn't like the whole paint the teeth thing.
Yeah.
But as far as character and you know just the persona of it, like I just loved being that crazy psychopath guy. It was
Hmm.
just it was easy for me to do, you know. But you know probably I'd have to probably say the ECW.
Yeah. When your release came, was that something that you saw coming, or that was that just out of the blue for you
Well,
personally?
it wasn't a true release. I went down to Philly and I had a meeting with Vince, and I was like, listen, I never sat the bench on any sport I ever played.
Hmm.
I didn't want to get the Monday Night Raw to watch Monday Night Raw. I want to be featured on a show, and I think I've proven myself over the years that I could, take whatever you give me and make magic out of it. And Vince was like, "Yeah, we love all the stuff you're doing. We'll probably put you back. We'll probably put you on SmackDown, and we'll let you have a run on SmackDown." It's like sweet. So I don't know what happened between that and the time that we decided to part ways, but Johnny called me and he's like, "Hey, we don't really have anything for you, so we just part ways, and you know no heat or nothing. We could always come back and blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Hey, no problem, whatever." Because like I said, dude, I'm not the type of guy to want to
Yeah.
just be there. That's just not me. I've never every sport I've ever played in my life, I was on the starting team. I never sat the bench. I never, never watched the game or the, whatever. So I didn't want to just be there.
Yeah.
That's not my goal. I didn't want to get there just to get there. So,
But that's a good mindset to have, and so much more respect for you for having that conversation and doing that, because a lot of people would have just sat at home and collected a check. But
yeah.
that's passion for just sports in general. You can see that. And then was that a hard decision after that release came? Did you know if you wanted to do professional wrestling or if you wanted to try to do something else?
No,
Now
I
that.
mean, pro wrestling just suits my personality, man. I've
Hmm.
always been like a class clown kind of guy. Do something, dare me to do something, I'll do it just to do it. Just, always that's just my personality, man. Anybody that's known me, my whole life knows how, that's just me. So, I still wrestled. I still did indie shows, and I like the performance aspect of it. I'm a performer. I like to perform. I like to, be the
Hmm.
character. Because it's funny how many people that meet me now are like, "Man, you used to scare the shit out of me. I
Yeah.
hated you, but you're such a nice guy in real life." I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm a good actor." It's funny. I get that quite often. They're like, "Man, you're so nice, but you're such an asshole in wrestling. I hated you."
That means you did your job well.
Yeah, so that's always cool to hear. Actually, I think it's funny.
So what was next for you after your release came? What did you decide that your next venture was going to be?
Well, like I said, I still wrestled. I did that for maybe that first year.
Hmm.
And then I always wanted to do horror films and stuff like that. So I started, getting involved in some other projects movie wise, and met up with a production company out of Jersey, Ed McKeever. He he's like a film guy, does independent films, and
Hmm.
we became friends and started working together on a project called 100 Acres of Hell. So I co-wrote it, co-produced it, starred in it, fight coordinator, stunt coordinator, and we signed a deal with Lionsgate back in would have been, I want to say 2019 ish. It's around
Hmm.
2019, and we got the film done, got it out through Lionsgate on all the streaming platforms. We actually did some film festivals too. We won the best horror feature film at the Philadelphia Film Festival. So, I mean, I'm very proud of it for the shoestring budget that we had.
Hmm.
It really, really came out well. And one of the ladies that was in the film was from The Exorcist, Eileen Dietz. She had a little spot in the film. And then Samu, since he helped me out in wrestling and the family always took care of me, brought him on board. He played the killer, Jeb Tucker,
Hmm.
and uh, Alpha Junior was his stunt double. So all the fighting and all the big falls and all that kind of stuff was Alpha Junior. And Lance Anawahi was in it as well. He was one of the inbred killers at the start. And it was awesome to work on the project. I love all that stuff. I'm a big horror movie guy. Uh, just always wanted to do an homage to, like, Friday the 13th is one of my favorite films. So, we use that same formula,
Hmm.
the old slasher, 80s slasher type film, but a lot of twists and turns. And if anybody's interested to check it out, it's still out there on all the streaming platforms. 100 Acres of Hell. Like I said, I'm very proud of it. I
Hmm.
think people will like it, and check it out.
Are you looking forward to the new Crystal Lake series coming out?
Eh,
Yeah.
it depends.
Yeah.
They try to revamp these things, and then it
Hmm.
never turns out as good as you think it's gonna.
Is there?
Nothing against Rob Zombie, but
Hmm.
his Halloweens aren't anywhere near the real, the first Halloween. Like the first
Yeah.
Halloween is there's the first Halloween and the first Friday the 13th are probably the two best horror films to me. Like
Hmm.
I could watch them over and over and over again. Just the music, the the tension, like that's what I liked about it. Like nowadays, people are getting chopped up in 1,000 pieces right in the first scene, and it's like, where do you go
Yeah.
from there? So, I like that build up with the characters, and if you look back on it, like there wasn't ever really anything graphic. It was
Mm-mm.
more of the build up to Michael getting the girl, or
Yeah.
Jason getting the camp instructor. It was you really had that mounting tension
Yeah.
and the build up, and you knew something was going to happen, but you didn't know what or when. So
Hmm.
like I always enjoyed that aspect of horror films.
See, and it's hard, and like any movies in the last, what, 15, 20 years, it's rated R, and it shouldn't be rated R because it's not scary. You're not on the edge
Yeah,
of your seat. It's just, it's a different horror genre now, I feel, because I grew up on horror films too, and there's a couple here and there, but there's nothing like it used to be, I feel, when it comes to
no,
horror movies. Yeah.
no, I agree. And the cool thing about the old school horror movies, like they use like unknown people,
Yeah.
and they developed into these big stars. So that was always cool too. I
Hmm.
thought, because now you put all these named people in, and if the movie doesn't do anything, then they're losing millions and millions of dollars.
Yep.
Like the original Halloween had like a $500,000 budget. It's like,
Hmm.
and they made you know gazillions of dollars
Yeah.
on a $500,000 budget. It's like that's the cool part to me, like that you could take something and mold it and not have all the CGI and all those
Yeah.
crazy special effects, but still become one of the best movies of all time. You know?
Hmm. It's like nowadays, it's not scary. They just want to make you uncomfortable and see if they can make you puke, or you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
they just
It's
want to
more about
make you.
pushing it's more about
Yeah.
pushing the envelope now as opposed to telling a
Yeah.
story. You know?
So how big is the difference between doing professional wrestling and then diving into the film world? Because I've always been interested in how that process works, and is it a lot more? I would assume it's a lot harder than what people assume it is.
The hard part's getting funding, like
Yeah.
to approach people and get money to do a project. That was the most awkward thing. Like I have a lot of friends that have businesses, and like the one scene in the film, we're at the airport. We fly in a helicopter. It's actually one of my buddy Aaron Muller's. He's a helicopter pilot, and it's his helicopter. So called in a couple favors to him, and then we got used to the airport. His family part owner in the airport, so pulled some strings for him to do that for us, and then we had the place we actually filmed the movie was one of my personal training clients' grandfather's property. And she was like, she knew about the film, and she's like, man, that'd be a great spot to film it. So I was like, oh, cool. So her and I went and looked at it, and lo and behold, it was an awesome spot. And that's where we ended up filming all the fight scenes and the nighttime stuff. We had a big fire going. It was cool, man. Like just the experience of doing it on our own
Hmm.
and learning as you go. Like that was there are things I'll never forget. It's just
Yeah.
like what an experience. We're gonna make
Hmm.
a horror movie. Let's make a horror movie. Just just the approach we took.
Hmm. Do you have any upcoming projects? I know you're doing a podcast with Mike Chioda now.
Yeah, Mike and I started. It's not our fault,
Hmm.
and we we say we are unapologetic, unfiltered, and uncensored. So anything goes. Whatever people want to talk about, we'll talk about. And we're going to be doing live on YouTube on August 6th. But we're doing like some little run throughs on Instagram. We
Hmm.
just did one the other night. We're going to do a couple more. So I'll post that on social media so everybody that's interested can check it out, get their questions ready, or tune in, or you know check out the show. But yeah, it's not our fault. Dot com. I don't think we have a website yet, but we will. But if you guys anybody wants to follow, we have all the social media stuff set up for it now. It's not our fault on Instagram. Obviously, the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, subscribe. It's not our fault. it's gonna be interesting stuff because Mike and I had some crazy times together at WWE, and a lot of stories that people are gonna probably think, man, there's no way that could have happened, but it did. Believe me, it's it's crazy the shit that we got ourselves into, and
It's a different time
I
back then.
woo, yeah, a lot of rolling into the hotel at 7 in the morning after drinking 12, 15 Red Bull and vodkas. I don't know how I did it, but yeah, a lot of good stories, a lot of good
Oh.
times. Mike's a great guy. Probably the best referee in the history of wrestling. Had all the top matches of
Hmm.
all time. Like, what a resume, man.
Oh
He's
yeah.
amazing. One of my best friends. We traveled together at WWE, had a lot of good times, a lot of good stories. So, like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's not our fault. Message us, hey, say hello. It's not our fault on Instagram. It's not our fault on Facebook. We got a page on Facebook. And my personal one is the real Snitsky is my Instagram. And hey, if you're fans or you want to reach out and say hi, hit me up. I'm pretty good with getting back to everybody.
Hmm.
I try to keep a good rapport with the fans because if it wasn't for the fans, there'd be no Snitsky. So thanks, guys. To all those fans out there.
How is your relationship with WWE today?
Great. Yeah, it was actually my wife and I just went down to Allentown. They had a house show last week, I think it was. We went down. Sean Davari was one of my best friends at WWE. We traveled
Hmm.
together a while too. And him and Ken Doan are agents now. So they were the agents for that show. So Sean texted me that he was going to be down there. So my wife and I shot down, hung out, enjoyed the show. I still have a great rapport with them. And,
Hmm.
every year at, Royal Rumble, they played a damn thing with me and Paul London. So every year I'm still,
Waiting.
you know, pushed back out there to millions of people. So, it helps keep my name out there, helps keep me out there, and helps with, the, uh, the stuff that I got going on. So, you know, I just, I can't say enough good things about WWE, man. They gave me the opportunity to do what I do.
Hmm.
And, that was, I made my debut in September of 2004. So we're almost coming up on the 22-year anniversary, man. That's crazy. I don't know where the time went, but yeah, 22 years later, we're still sitting here talking about me.
You
So
know.
I guess I did something right.
Oh yeah. And do you think we'll get any more Snitsky memorabilia, merchandise, action figures down the line?
Well, actually, there's a company called Title Run Toys, and they're coming out with a new Snitsky action figure in early fall. And it's the first action figure in the history of action figures with baby punt action. It's tremendous. The prototype, when I was out in Vegas for WrestleCon, they had a table and they had my prototype, so I had to run over and play with myself. So, and it was enjoyable. I enjoyed playing with myself.
Where can people reach out to you at?
The real Snitsky on Instagram. That's where I usually do most of my fan stuff. I don't do a lot of fan stuff on Facebook, so don't bother reaching out to me on Facebook. That's more of like my personal friends and my everyday stuff.
Hmm.
Are the show page. It's not our fault. Facebook. It's not our fault. Instagram. Uh, yeah, man. I love my fans. I love love interacting with the fans. I love doing the conventions and all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of those now, so it's cool, man. It's cool as a performer to be remembered so
Hmm.
fondly because it's like I was, killing babies and punting babies and squashing people and all kind of, you know, maniacal
Hmm.
stuff. So for people to still want to talk to me or talk about me or meet me, it's pretty cool.
Hmm. What would you like for the fans to remember most about your time at WWE and Snitsky as a character?
Just that, scared the shit out of them and now they meet me and oh, you're really a nice guy. I think that's the funniest thing because like
Hmm.
I'm just me being me most of the time, and then I turn into my alter ego. I always joke around with people. I'm like, I live vicariously through myself. So, you know, but I always had a big imagination as a kid. You know,
Hmm.
did a lot of art, drew a lot of art, did a lot of artwork, did a lot of puzzles, models. Always was into something. Always like creating things, and always had a vivid imagination. I think because I grew up across the street from a cemetery, where I
Yeah.
grew up, I lived right across the street from a cemetery, and we were always like, oh, scaring each other and stuff
Hmm.
like that, and just being kids and running around scaring the shit out of people and ourselves and just acting like goofballs. So just kind of came natural. But yeah, man, it's just it's crazy to me that all the all these people still remember stuff that happened so long ago. Like I got younger kids like come up to
Hmm.
me, I'm like, how do you even know about that? Like how did you stumble upon the shit I did 22 years ago? You're like
Hmm.
15 years old. It's crazy, man. But yeah, it's wrestling fans are awesome, best fans in the world. As a matter of fact, my beautiful Snitsky neon sign there, one of my fans made for me and sent. I don't know, plug in. Or do I? The right one? Ah, there it is.
There we go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
that's all kind of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, no, I got great fans. I'm a very blessed guy, man. Just rolling everything that I can to
Hmm.
to keep entertaining the fans, man.
Yeah.
It's all about memories, and you know, I'm just thankful that I was fortunate enough to get in a situation where I could perform in front of a live audience every week and do it at a level where people still want to talk about it. So that's like the coolest thing to me.
Hmm. Well, I just want to say, thank you for coming on today. Thank you for what you've done for professional wrestling and what you continue to do, sir. When I was younger, you were on TV and you did scare the shit out of me. And I thought you were a really good bad guy. You were larger than life. You played that role so well. So I just thank you for what you've done for professional wrestling.
You're welcome, and thank you for those nice words. I enjoyed it. It was always always an adventure, always
Hmm.
fun, and you know hearing things like that from fans like yourself, just it's cool, very cool.
And if there's ever anything that I can do, please feel free to reach out.
Well, you can subscribe to our YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
gotcha.
It's not our fault. Check out the show and interact with us while we're doing it because like I said, we'll be doing questions and whatever anybody wants to talk about, we'll talk because it's a lot of stuff going on and there's always something to talk about.
Hmm.
I'm a big football guy. I love the Eagles. I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles guy. I still keep in touch with Dom DeSandro, the big Dom at Philly's a friend of mine, and I've always had a nice rapport with the Eagles guys because Andy Reid was my offensive line coach at Missouri. So when he
Hmm.
left to go to Green Bay and then ended up having a head coaching job at Philly, I go down for camp every year. I'd go to a couple games. So you know, but anything sports or entertainment or pro wrestling, we'll be talking about her, and whatever floats their boat, I'll talk. I'm a pretty good talker, so I'll talk all day. Don't matter. But yeah, so check out the show, check out the Instagram, check out the Facebook, and thanks again to all the fans. I appreciate all the memories and interactions, and I love doing the conventions and meeting and talking with all the fans, man. It's cool to be, all these years later,
Hmm.
still doing what I do and still enjoying it and still having people enjoy it. So that's awesome.
I will do everything in my power to promote the show as much as I can.
I greatly appreciate it. And Brian, thanks for your time and thanks for having me on. And hopefully, we'll run into each other again someday.
Yes, sir. Thank you
But if
again.
we don't, but if we don't, it's not my fault.